This stretch of Park Avenue on the Upper East Side of Manhattan is the wealthiest neighborhood in New York City. This is where the people at the top of the ladder live, the upper crust, the ultra-rich.
When I was growing up, the image of America and the self-image was of a vast middle-class country. Of course, there was a small rich group, and there were some poor, but America prided itself and understood that its health was because of a vast middle class. We're not that kind of society anymore.
There's always been a gap between the wealthiest in our society and everyone else. But in the last 30 years, something changed. That gap became the Grand Canyon.
The incomes of people at the lower end stagnated. And disproportionate amount of the growth in the economy has accrued to those at the upper end.
This is what America's economic pie looked like in the decades after World War II. Income gains were shared by everyone, with big portions going to average Americans. But since the late 1970s, the bottom 90% have seen their share of the pie completely devoured by the top 1%.
The wealthy are getting an enormous percentage of all of the gains in the entire economy. When I talk about the wealthy, I'm talking about like in the thousands of people.
Thousands might be overstating it. As of 2010, only 400 of the richest Americans controlled more wealth than the bottom half of American households. That's 150 million people.
You've got young people today that have grown up with social media, and they understand networks. They understand how people are connected through technology, and they understand how money flows through those networks.
This is the day of being virtual, being able to run a business from your mobile phone. I mean, it's incredible.
The world is changing faster than ever. What used to take decades is now taking years or even months.
What you see right now is the illusion that people have had for many decades about the workplace being this secure place to work the rest of your life.
For the first time in the history of our nation, our children will not do as well as us.
We've seen our friends get laid off, we've been laid off, we've had our pay cut.
People are overworked and underpaid. They seem to have less time and less freedom. They live under constant pressure. So one of the things that I think is interesting as I travel across the country and really travel around the world is the way that we work and the way we get paid for work is changing pretty dramatically.
On a global basis, everything is being turned upside down because of the rapidly advancing technologies. They are eliminating many jobs, and we have been left with many people not prepared for the jobs that exist.
A lot of demand in public companies was to squeeze out all the fat and to get just as much margin as we possibly could, and fat equals humans.
So this idea of job security and information age is so obsolete, but it's still taught inside our school system, and that's where the problem starts. There's no financial education in the school system, and people are still trained to be employees who work for that paycheck.
In 1965, CEOs made about 20 times as much as the average worker. Today, by the most conservative estimate, that number is 231.
If you're not working for yourself, then it's going to be a pretty hard road for a lot of people.
Today, if you're going to control your future, the 40-40 plan is gone, where you can graduate from college and get a job and work for 40 hours a week for 40 years. That day is gone.
I feel sorry for the person who dreads going to work, who is sick to their stomach on Monday morning, who hates their alarm clock, who gets a little glimmer of hope on a Wednesday because it's hump day and says, thank God it's Friday. I feel sorry for that group of people because There's a better way. They just don't know it.
The basis for their life is worry. I'm worried, maybe I'll get fired. I'm worried maybe my company will go out of business. I'm worried I can't keep spinning the plates on paying the bills. I'm worried about how do I send my kids to college. I'm worried, what if the transmission of my car breaks? That's 2 or 3, I can't fix it. People live in a sea of worry, and it eats at them.
So I'm here on Wall Street, the financial center of the universe, the financial capital of the world. People feel like they don't have any choice but to put their future into equities, to put their future into the hands of other people on this stock market. It's my personal belief that if you put your future into the hands of yourself, in other words, you have earning power by yourself, I think you're a better investment than these guys. The average household income in the United States is approximately $50,000 a year, what they call the middle class. To reach the top 25% of income earners, you'd need to earn at least $90,000 a year. To reach the top 10% would be a household income of $140,000, the top 5%, $190,000, and to be in the top 1%, you'd need a combined household income of at least $380,000 a year. So here's the question. What do you think would give you the best chance to move up and get to the top 10%, the top 5%, the top 1% or beyond? In my opinion, and in the opinion of many, many experts, the answer is to become an entrepreneur, to become your own boss. And most people say, I'd love to be my own boss. 70% of Americans would love to be their own boss, according to recent polls. But they don't know how to get there. Because what are you going to do? One, you could buy an existing business. If somebody's selling an existing business, you have to ask why. Usually because it's probably hard. It's probably not making as much money as they hope. Two, they could buy a franchise. A little less risk, proven system, but it's expensive to be able to do that. Three, they could start something from scratch. And that's where a lot of people feel like, I don't have the chops to do it. I don't have the money. I don't have the product idea. I don't have the expertise. I don't have whatever it's going to take to be able to get there. And I can't risk my family to do it. So fourth, they could become an investor. A lot of people in this town invest to try and figure out a way, but you got to be pretty smart with that game too, right?
Venture capitalists, who are the very best and most sophisticated in investing in new breakthrough businesses, make it on 1 out of 11. That means 10 out of 11 are mediocre or fail. Most of them fail. That's the risk there. An angel investor is lucky to get 1 out of 15 or 20.
A business is a team sport. Like, I have to have accountants, I have to have engineers, I have to have system designers, I have to have sales, marketing, I have to have accounting, I have to have mission statements, I have to have legal and all that. The average Joe Schmo, even me, I go out there, I don't have the skills to put a business together.
I think the bottom line for the four traditional options is they take money, sometimes a lot of it. They take expertise, and they take time. All of that adds up to just too much risk for most people. What if there was a way that you had all the proven aspects, the comfort aspects, and you could still control your own life? What if there was both? In other words, you didn't have to create everything from scratch. You didn't have to be a super leader. All you had to do, what if there was a proven product already? You didn't have to create the product. And there's a proven system already, proven training already. Everything except an employer. That was the only thing that you didn't have. Do you think more people would be open to working for themselves in that environment? In our search for a better way to make a living, we've come to the conclusion that becoming an entrepreneur is actually safer than being an employee. And through our look at the entrepreneurial options, one particular path kept coming up from expert after expert. And I think most people will find it surprising because it's certainly a non-traditional business model. That model is for people to start their own business and become an entrepreneur through the creation of a network marketing business.
I went to network marketing like that. I think If it didn't exist, we should invent it. It is that good.
I think direct selling is a great way to do business today. It's very easy to get into that industry, and you can be self-employed, be in effect an entrepreneur.
When we see multi-billionaires adding network marketing companies to their portfolio of companies, that would be a clue. When we see people who are very famous authors and very famous business people endorsing the industry, that would be a clue.
These network marketing companies aren't $50 million companies, they're billions and billions of dollars. They lead the stock market, they're major companies.
Imagine if Amazon allowed you to become an independent distributor and paid out 40% of its revenue to that distributor group. All you had to do as a distributor was recommend a product, and if a person bought it on Amazon, Amazon would take care of all the logistics and you'd get paid for bringing the customer. Now imagine you got paid for every purchase that customer made for the rest of their lives. Well, Amazon doesn't offer this option, but network marketing companies do.
The advantage of network marketing is the ease of entry, the low risk, and the low startup cost, because almost everything else has very high risk.
You can get in for a minimal investment. You're buying into a system that's already been proven, products or services that have been proven to work.
The keys to network marketing is providing an opportunity for the masses to get involved, providing an opportunity for the average person who doesn't have the resources to start their own business.
All of this so far is fairly straightforward, but network marketing offers another benefit, and it's this benefit that makes it so interesting for entrepreneurs. Network marketing allows a distributor to build their own network of other distributors and then compensates them on the sales created by that entire group.
Instead of having to work your way up in a system and prove that you could be a sales manager, they just decided everybody can be a sales manager. Everybody gets to build a sales team from day one. And so what that brought into the system of growth as a direct selling company is the concept of compounding or geometric progression. Because now you can actually grow sales force very quickly because everybody is enrolling people in their own sales force.
People who are like, oh, this is weird, I'm building a sales team, or what do you think you do at a regular company? How do you think a regular company works?
Network marketing is the only industry that doesn't say your past determines your future. It looks at your past and says, okay, now what can we train you to do so you can have a great future? Every other employer out there wants to exploit you for what you already know, not teach you something new.
Network marketing has the potential to save the United States and the world because it's going to teach people not to be employees, but to be entrepreneurs.
According to the Direct Selling Association, if you add up all the network marketing companies around the world, they combine to do over $178 billion a year in retail sales. To give you an idea of how big that really is, the NFL, the National Football League, does approximately $9 billion a year. The music industry does a little more than $16 billion a year, and the movie industry does about $80 billion a year. Using a conservative average, network marketing companies pay their distributors about 40% of that $178 billion in the form of commissions, which adds up to more than $71 billion a year. That's almost $6 billion a month. It's almost $200 million in commissions every single day. So it's certainly working, and people are making serious money in network marketing. So I've taken a look at the network marketing profession and really tried to understand why so many people are confused as to the validity of this as a business. One is this pyramid shape. People get really messed up with this pyramid. Oh, it's one of those pyramid things.
So I just think there are a lot of haters out there who really don't understand the industry and say, oh, it's a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a pyramid.
Well, corporate America is a pyramid scheme. You know what I mean? It goes like this. You have thousands of MBAs, let's say working for Ford or General Motors or Coca-Cola. If all these MBAs are all trying to get to here, that's a pyramid. Only one guy's going to make it. Every 10 years, one's going to make it. Whereas you look at network marketing, it's like this. So you're here, and your job is to develop other CEOs coming up behind you. So it's an inverse pyramid.
The naysayers, the people who say that it doesn't work, are usually the ones who just don't know how to make it work for themselves. And so they're giving you an opinion, and I tell people, don't confuse people's opinions with expertise, because opinions are free. And don't confuse sincerity with the truth, because people could be sincerely wrong. The industry has changed and it's grown up. It's totally transformed.
You've got young people today that have grown up with social media, and they understand networks. They understand how people are connected through technology, and they understand how money flows through those networks. So when they see network marketing, they don't see it the way their parents saw it.
This is the day of being virtual, being able to run a business from your mobile phone. I mean, it's incredible.
Nothing happens until something moves. So you got to go move, you got to go do something, or nothing's going to change in your life.
In the beginning, you're going to do a lot of things that you don't get paid for. But as you go down the road, you get paid for a lot of things that you don't do.
And your job is rehabilitate the spirit, the entrepreneur spirit in all of us. You get it back.
Either give it a strong yes or a strong no, but no wishy-washy, dilly-dally stuff in the middle.
There's dreams and there are nightmares, but I believe that the biggest nightmare of all is when you don't pursue your dream.
You're going to see some monumental growth in this profession. It's an exciting, exciting time to be involved with the network marketing profession. The next 10 years, I see just exponential growth.
When that tipping point comes, it's not a matter of asking somebody, have you ever heard about network marketing? You're really asking them, which company are you building your wealth in?
We are here to fix the world, to improve relationships with other people, to improve other lives. And the real reward comes as an entrepreneur in any level from teaching somebody something and watching them soar. There is no greater reward.
Life's too short to spend it living someone else's dream instead of your own. My wish for all of you is that you would reach out and grab it. The choice is up to you.